Heroes of steam meet the geezers who made it go choo-choo. Forget your phones, your fancy cars, your electric whatnots. None of that existed back in the day. Back then, it was all about steam, the original superpower. And who do we thank for this life-changing invention? A bunch of clever clogs from long ago, that's who. These weren't your average Joe Blogs, mind you. These were inventors, tinkerers, dreamers who dared to think differently. They looked at boiling water and saw, not a cuppa, but the power to move the world. Now these pioneers didn't invent the steam engine overnight. It was a long, hard slog, full of trial and error, explosions, and more than a few singed eyebrows. But they stuck with it, driven by the belief that steam held the key to a better future. And boy were they right. Before steam, why life stunk without engines. Imagine a world without cars, trains, or planes. A world where the fastest way to travel was on horseback or by sailing ship. A world where the fastest way to travel was on horseback or by sailing ship. Journeys that take hours today would take days or even weeks back then. Sounds romantic, doesn't it? Well, let me tell you, it wasn't. The reality was far from the idyllic scenes you might imagine. Life before the steam engine was hard, slow, and often short. People had to endure grueling journeys in harsh conditions. Want to visit your granny who lives 100 miles away? Pack your bags and prepare to spend several days on bumpy roads, freezing your backside off in winter and choking on dust in summer. And that's if you were lucky enough to have a horse. And don't get me started on the smell. With no proper sanitation, cities were stinking cesspools, and diseases spread like wildfire. The stench was unbearable, and living conditions were dire. Forget about your fancy gadgets and gizmos too. Everything was made by hand, which meant it was expensive and took ages to produce. The craftsmanship was admirable, but the time and effort required were immense. The average Joe had to make do with the bare necessities, and luxury was a distant dream for most. Life was a constant struggle for survival, and comfort was a rare luxury. Industrial Revolution, how steam made us all rich. Well, some of us. Then came the steam engine, like a bolt from the blue. It revolutionized everything it touched. Suddenly we had a reliable source of power that could drive machines, transport goods, and even people, faster and further than ever before. The world became smaller and more connected. Factories sprung up like mushrooms, churning out goods at an unprecedented rate. Production soared, and with it, the demand for labor. People flocked to cities for work, and society underwent a massive transformation. Urbanization changed the landscape of nations. This, my friends, was the Industrial Revolution, and the steam engine was its beating heart. It was the catalyst for change. With steam power we could produce more food, clothes, and other essentials, making life easier and more affordable for many. It improved living standards for a significant portion of the population. New industries emerged, creating jobs and boosting the economy. Innovation was at an all-time high. Of course, it wasn't all rosy. There were significant downsides. The Industrial Revolution also brought pollution, poverty, and harsh working conditions for many. Child labor and long hours were common, but there's no denying that the steam engine was the driving force behind this period of unprecedented change. It reshaped the world in ways we still feel today. Section 4. Full steam ahead. Trains and boats that don't suck. Remember those slow, smelly journeys of the past? Well, forget about them. The steam engine revolutionized transportation, making it faster, cheaper, and, dare I say, more enjoyable. First came the steamboats, those magnificent iron beasts that conquered the rivers and seas. No longer at the mercy of wind and waves, we could now transport goods and people across vast distances with speed and efficiency. Then came the railways, those iron ribbons that snaked across the land, connecting cities and towns like never before. The steam engine was the iron horse that pulled these trains, shrinking distances and opening up new frontiers. Thanks to the railways, trade flourished, industries boomed, and people could finally explore the world beyond their own backyard. Section 5. The big names Watt, Trevithick, and Stephenson. Oh my! Behind every great invention there are brilliant minds that conceived and perfected it. These inventors not only changed their own times but also laid the groundwork for future technological advancements. The steam engine is no exception, and its Hall of Fame is packed with names that deserve to be etched in history books. These pioneers revolutionized industries and transportation, making a lasting impact on the world. First we have Thomas Newcomen, the granddaddy of the steam engine. His work laid the initial foundation for what was to come. His early atmospheric engine, while clunky and inefficient, paved the way for future innovations. It was a crucial stepping stone in the evolution of steam technology. Then came James Watt, the rock star of the steam engine world. His contributions were nothing short of revolutionary. His improvements, like the separate condenser and the centrifugal governor, transformed the steam engine from a clunky contraption into a powerful and efficient machine. These enhancements significantly boosted the engine's performance and reliability, and let's not forget Richard Trevithick, the daredevil who built the first steam locomotive. His bold experiments pushed the boundaries of what steam power could achieve. His puffing devil, while a far cry from the sleek trains we know today, proved that steam could power vehicles on land. This was a monumental step towards modern transportation. Finally, we have George Stephenson, the father of the railways. His vision and engineering prowess were instrumental in shaping the future of rail transport. His rocket locomotive, a marvel of engineering for its time, won the Rainhill trials and ushered in the age of steam railways. This achievement marked the beginning of a new era in transportation, forever changing the way people and goods moved across distances. Section 6. Steam's Not Dead Yet, where you can still find these puffing wonders. You might think that the steam engine, like a retired gladiator, is now relegated to museums and history books. But you'd be wrong. Sure, it's no longer the dominant force it once was, but the allure of steam lives on. Step into a heritage railway, and you'll be transported back in time as a magnificent steam locomotive thunders past, its whistle echoing through the air. And it's not just about nostalgia. Steam engines are still used today in some industries, particularly in power generation. And let's not forget the steam-powered turbines that generate electricity in many power plants around the world. So the next time you flick on a light switch, remember that it might just be a steam engine chugging away in the background that's keeping your lights on. Section 7. And the winner is why steam still matters today. The steam engine might seem like a relic of the past, but its legacy continues to shape our world. It sparked the Industrial Revolution, transformed transportation, and laid the foundation for our modern industrial society. The ingenuity and perseverance of those early pioneers who dared to harness the power of steam continue to inspire us today. As we face new challenges in the 21st century, from climate change to resource depletion, the lessons learned from the steam engine era are more relevant than ever. The need for innovation, efficiency, and sustainable solutions is paramount, and the spirit of those early steam pioneers can serve as a guiding light. So let's raise a toast to the steam engine, the invention that changed the world.